Welcome back, children. So today's topic will be kinematics. It is again a chapter review of kinematics. Okay, we know in kinematics or one-dimensional or motion in a straight line. Okay, we have studied about when do you say a body is at rest, then motion, different types of velocities like instantaneous velocity, average velocity, instantaneous speed, average speed, acceleration, etc. So what do we actually study in kinematics? We just study the motion of a body without knowing the cause of motion. So regarding this chapter review, okay, we can expect questions from four different concepts of this particular chapter. Like you can divide the chapter into four parts. The first set of questions we may expect from questions related to average speed and average velocity. Okay, I'll discuss a few examples on average speed and average velocity questions. Then you can expect questions related to equations using differentiation and integration, finding out velocity, acceleration and distance. Like they may give you distance as a function of time and ask you velocity and acceleration, velocity as a function of time, acceleration as a function of time, velocity as a function of distance, acceleration as a function of distance, then velocity as a function of acceleration. Okay, so all these equations will be given, and from those equations we have to identify either distance or displacement, velocity, acceleration, etc. So different equations relating these physical quantities and questions related to equations. Then third is questions related to graphs, graph based applications on kinematics. And at last, equations of motion for a body moving with uniform acceleration. We have three equations of motion and then questions related to equations of motion. And here itself we'll study vertically projected body, freely falling body and a body projected from the top of a tower. Okay, three different cases. So this is how the numericals may be given from any of these four concepts. So let's go one by one. Okay, so starting with average speed and average velocity. Okay, so remember, how do we define average speed or average velocity? Okay, when you talk about speed, it is rate of change of position of the particle, whereas velocity is the rate of change of displacement. I repeat, how do we define speed? Rate of change of position. Okay, here we have two types, instantaneous and average. How do we define instantaneous speed? Okay, instantaneous speed is rate of change of distance, ds by dt will give you the speed. Whereas average speed, okay, how do we define average speed? Total distance by total time. The total distance traveled by a body divided by total time. Okay, speed is a scalar while velocity is a vector. Instantaneous velocity, rate of change of displacement. It's a vector quantity. Whereas average velocity is total displacement by total time. And we all know distance and displacement. What is the inequality between them? Distance can be equal to distance. Distance can be greater than or equal to displacement. Okay, indirectly what are we saying? Displacement can never be greater than the distance, because displacement we define it as it is the shortest distance between two points. Okay, so to begin with questions related to average speed and velocity. So look at the first question. It is said that a particle is covering half the distance with a speed v1 and the remaining half distance with a speed v2. Okay, assume it's a straight line motion. Okay, and it is starting from a certain point. Half of the distance, if I take the total distance as s, half the distance it's moving with speed v1, the remaining half with speed v2. The question is, you have to find out what is average speed. So as per the definition, tell me what is average speed. Is it total distance by total time? calculate what is the time taken for the first half of the motion is time distance by velocity. So I will write T1 as S by 2 V1. The time taken for the second half of the journey, distance by velocity, that is S by 2 V2. So total distance S by 2 plus S by 2 by total time. Add the two time intervals, S by 2 V1 plus S by 2 V2. Take out S by 2 common. Average speed is 2 by 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2, or implies 2 by average speed is 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2. So you can remember this. If the distance is divided into two equal parts, what is average speed given by? 2 by average speed is 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2. If the total distance is divided into three equal distances, that means three equal parts, then what will be the average speed? 3 by V average, or average speed, will become 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2 plus 1 by V3. Generalize it. N by, if you divide the whole distance into n equal parts, then n by average speed would become 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2 and so on up to n divided by V. But always it is not necessary that distance should be equally divided. Sometimes the question may be like this. The whole body covers 1/3 of the distance with a speed V1. Okay, instead of dividing it into equal parts, 1/3 of the distance with V1, 2/3 of the distance with a speed V2. Then what would be the average speed? Okay, you can divide this into three parts. 1/3 of the distance with V1, remaining 2/3 I will make it into S by 3 and S by 3. It is traveling with a speed V2. Here also the speed is V2. Then you can still make use of this general formula. Three parts. 3 by average speed is 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2 plus 1 by V2. So solve this, you can find out what is the average speed. So whenever distance is halved, you can make use of this relation. One more I will give you. If you divide the distance into 5 equal parts, not equal parts, say 1/5 of the distance, it is covering with V1. Remaining 4 by 5 parts of the total distance, it maintains a speed V2. Then what will be your formula or a method of calculating? Divide the distance into 5 equal parts. 5 by average speed. For the first part, the speed is V1. Remaining 4 parts can be written as V2. 1 by V2 plus 1 by V2 plus 1 by V2, like that 4 different parts. So simplify this relation, you can very easily find out what is the average speed. So this is the case whenever distance is divided. Now time interval is divided. Okay, a particle is moving with a speed V1 for half of the time. So this is the total time of journey, whatever be the distance. For half the time, it is moving with a speed V1. Remaining half time, it is moving with a speed V2. Then you are asked to find out what is the average speed. So how do we define average speed again? Don't forget the basic definition. Average speed is total distance divided by total time. What is the distance covered in half of the total time interval? We know distance is velocity into time. So S1 I can write it as V1 into T by 2. S2 we will write it as V2 into T by 2. So what should be the total distance then? V1 into T by 2 plus V2 into T by 2 divided by total time, which is T. Simplify. Average speed, if time interval is half, is V1 plus V2 divided by 2. So whenever time interval is half, average speed becomes V1 plus V2 by 2. Suppose you divide it into 3 time intervals, 3 equal time intervals. Okay, T by 3 seconds one third of the total time it is moving with V1, next to one third with V2, next to one third with V3. Then what will be your formula? Instead of 2 equal intervals, if it is divided into 3 equal time intervals, then average speed would become V1 plus V2 plus V3 divided by 3. Okay, if it is 1/3 and 2/3, then V1 plus V2 plus V2 divided by 3. So you can modify it according to the question. So this is how you can evaluate the average speed. But now I'll give combination. Look at this question, third model. A particle is covering half the distance with a speed V1, remaining half distance with a speed V2 for half of the remaining time, speed V3 for the half of the remaining time. Again I'm repeating, a body is covering half the total distance with a speed V1, remaining half distance V2 for half of the time interval and V3 half of the remaining time. Now how do we evaluate the average speed? Again you can find total distance by total time, but instead look at this alternative method. First concentrate on this portion. Okay, this is remaining half of the distance. For t by 2 seconds it was having a velocity V2. T by 2 seconds it was having a speed, not velocity, it is V3. This is the time taken to move from this point to this point. Whenever time interval is halved, okay, just now I told you, what is average speed given by? Average speed is equal to V2 plus V3 divided by 2. Okay, now you can remove this part because time interval is half. We have reduced this to a velocity V dash, where V dash is equal to V2 plus V3 by 2. Now you check the problem. For half the distance it was moving with V1. Remaining half distance speed was V2 plus V3 divided by 2. Now how to get the average speed? 2 by average speed equals to 1 by V1 plus 1 by V dash. Okay, where V dash is nothing but 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2 plus V3 divided by 2. I'll take this 2 to numerator. So this is how you can solve and find out the answer. So this is a case where half the distance was V1, remaining half time was V2 and V3. Now reverse. A body covers or travels for half the time of the journey. Okay, let this be the total length of the journey. For half of the time, it was moving with a speed V1. Remaining half time, with a speed V2 for half of the remaining distance, V3 for half of the remaining half of the remaining distance. Again I repeat, half the time speed was V1, but in remaining half time, whatever distance is left, half of that remaining distance, it is traveling with a speed V2 and this distance with V3. Now how do we solve it? First concentrate on this smaller portion. Whenever distances are half, how do we find out average speed? Average speed is equal to 2 by average speed is 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2. So 2 by average speed is 1 by V2 plus 1 by V3 implies average speed, I will call it as V dash, is equal to 2 V2 V3 by V2 plus V3. Now you can erase this portion. Replace this as V dash, where V dash is 2 V2 V3 by V2 plus V3. Now what should be the answer? Half the time speed is V1. Remaining half time, this is the speed. Whenever time intervals are half, how do we calculate the average speed? V1 plus V dash divided by 2. Okay, you can substitute the value of V dash and get the answer. So I have solved it in V1, V2s and V3s. If values are given, put the values and get the answer. So even for average velocity, you can follow the same method provided it's moving in a same straight line. So this is one part of the lesson, okay, one part of the questions related to kinematics. Okay, now let's quickly move to the questions related to equations, okay, like position as a function of time. Okay, look at the first question. So the position of a particle, x is varying according to the relation 12t minus 3t square. Okay, particle moving along x-axis, its position is varying with time according to this relation. So related to this question, they may ask you what is the speed of the particle? When does the particle come to rest? Okay, different bits. Find acceleration. One is velocity. See, when does it come to rest? Then displacement in 4 seconds. Distance traveled in 4 seconds. Okay, and if you know displacement and distance, you can find average speed and average velocity also. Average speed average velocity in 4 seconds. Okay, let's do one by one. So once we know x as a function of time, we know velocity is defined as dx by dt. Differentiate this relation. What is dx by dt equal to? 12 minus 3t square. 3 into 2t is the speed of the particle. 12 minus 60. So speed is given by the relation 12 minus 60. Then what is your acceleration? Okay, we know acceleration is rate of change of velocity. Again differentiate this relation. Differential of velocity will be minus 6 units, because if you consider it as time in seconds and distance in meters, you can write meter per second and meter per second square. So is it moving with acceleration or retardation? It's moving with retardation. Okay, retardation of minus 6. When does it come to rest? Okay, since it's moving with retardation, at some or the other time, the particle will come to rest. We know particle comes to rest when its speed becomes 0. So equate this to 0. V has to become 0. Implies 0 is equal to 12 minus 60. What should be the time? T equal to 2 seconds. Okay, it momentarily comes to rest at t equal to 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds, it reverses its direction. Okay, so that is the meaning of momentarily coming to rest. Then come to the next question. Displacement in 4 seconds, distance in 4 seconds. What is the difference between these two? If there is no change of direction, if it is continuing to move with increasing speed in one particular direction, then distance and displacement in one-dimensional motion would have been equal. But here the particle is coming to rest at t equal to 2 seconds. I am asking after 4 seconds. Let us see. Displacement, it only depends on initial and final positions. At t equal to 0, what is the position of the particle? At t equal to 0, x is also equal to 0. When t is equal to 4 seconds, what is the value of x equal to? Put t equal to 4 here. Okay, I'll make a table, that's better. X and t, when time is 0, x is 0. When t is 4 seconds, what is the value of x? 12 into 4 minus 3 into 4 square, 48 minus 16 threes, 48. Is it coming back to rest again? It started from 0, not rest, it started from x equal to 0, again coming back to x equal to 0. So what should be the displacement in t equal to 4 seconds? In 4 seconds, it has come back to origin. So displacement would be 0. So answer for this question is 0. Now to get the distance in 4 seconds, it started from origin and after 4 seconds it's coming back to origin. When did it change its direction? It can change its direction when speed becomes 0. So when v is 0, that means after 2 seconds it has retraced its path. So at t equal to 2 seconds, find out what is the value of x by using this relation. 12 into 2, 24 minus 3 into 2 square. 24 minus 12. Is it 12 meter? Now tell me, how did the particle move? It started from origin, went up to 12 meter in 2 seconds, then returned back to origin. Now you tell me the answer. What is the total distance traveled by the particle in 4 seconds? Distance is 12 plus 12. The total distance traveled would be 24 meter. Okay, this is how you can find the distance as well as displacement. And once you know this, it's not difficult to find average speed and average velocity. What is average speed? Total distance by total time. That is 24 by 4, 6 meter per second. Average velocity is 0 because it's again coming back to origin. So this is one question where x is a function of time. Okay, coming to this question, even here x is a function of time. The question is the speed or velocity of the particle increasing or decreasing with time? Okay, so where alpha, beta, a and b are constants. So differentiate the relation to find the velocity. V equal to a into differential of e power minus alpha t is e power minus alpha t into minus alpha plus b e to the power beta t into beta. So V becomes equal to alpha, I'll write this term first, beta b e to the power beta t minus alpha a e to the power minus alpha t. Now as time is continuously increasing, this is an exponentially increasing function, whereas this is exponentially decreasing function. Tell me what would happen if this term is continuously increasing and this term is continuously decreasing. The gap becomes larger and larger. So what should be your answer? V keeps on increasing with time. Okay, so like this type of questions can also be given where x is a function of time. Then coming to the next question. This is a very often repeated question. If t is equal to ax square plus bx, find acceleration in terms of velocity. Okay, we need to find the acceleration as a function of v. Okay, for that, here look at the relation. Here time is a function of x. Now I'll start differentiating this relation. Differentiate it. Dt by dx is 2ax plus b. We know dt by dx is reciprocal of speed, implies v is equal to 2ax plus b whole to the power minus 1. Now again I'll differentiate this relation. Okay, v is equal to 2ax plus b whole to the power minus 1. I can differentiate v with respect to x. Find what is dv by dx. So anything to the power minus 1 is minus 1 by 2ax plus b whole square into, again differential of this, 2ax, differential is 2a, b is anyway a constant. So what did we get? Dv by dx as dv by dx is minus 2a by 2ax plus b whole square, or dv is equal to minus 2a by 2ax plus b whole square into dx. Divide with dt. Will this give me acceleration? Equals to minus 2a by 2ax plus b whole square into, this is nothing but velocity, and we know velocity is 1 by 2ax plus b. So I can make it as q. And if you write this equation in terms of v, minus 2a into v cube, because 1 by 2ax plus b is nothing but v. So cube of it, we can write it as v cube. Okay, so this question is repeated a number of times in various objective exams. So remember this, if t is a function of x and they are asking you to find out acceleration, this is how you can simplify and find out. So So these are the three bits where x is a function of time and you are asked to find velocity and acceleration. Now let's look at the other models. Velocity as a function of distance. Okay, if v is a function of x, how to solve the question? So suppose v is equal to alpha root x. Velocity is a function of distance, and from here they are asking you to find out acceleration. Okay, let's see how to find out acceleration. Differentiate the relation. Since v is a function of x, you can find dv by dx. What is dv by dx? Alpha into x power half x to the power half minus 1, or dv by dx is alpha into alpha by 2 root x. Now dv equal to alpha by 2 root x into dx. Divide with dt on either sides because we need acceleration. dv by dt gives you acceleration. So what should be acceleration? Equal to alpha by 2 root x multiplied with v. Substitute the value of v. What is v? Alpha root x. Root x and root x will get cancelled. So acceleration of the particle is alpha square divided by 2. So this is how you can determine acceleration. But here the question is, velocity is a function of x. So whenever you get v as a function of x, we can differentiate v with respect to x. For the same question, they may even ask you, find an expression for x as a function of time. So here we have got alpha in terms of, acceleration in terms of alpha. But in the same question, if they ask you find out position of the particle as a function of time for the given expression, how can we find the position as a function of time? Okay, let's see. Because we want x as a function of time. dv by dt, velocity is equal to x root x. We know velocity can be written as dx by dt is alpha root x. Bring all x together, x on the left hand side. Dx by root x is alpha into dt. To get the value of x, I have to remove the differentiation. So we need to use integration on either sides. So if at t equal to 0, x is equal to 0. If it is not given, I have to put the value as x naught. If it is x equal to 0, if I take it as x equal to 0, 2x. What is integral of x to the power minus half? X to the power minus half plus 1 by minus half plus 1. What are the limits? 0 to x. If it is not 0, put it as x naught to x as the limits. From 0 to t. Integral of alpha into dt is alpha into t. Substitute the limits. 1 minus half 2 root x is alpha into t implies what is root x equal to alpha t by 2, or x is equal to alpha square t square divided by 2. So x you can find as a function of time. If you know velocity as a function of x, you can find x as a function of time, and you can also find out acceleration of the particle. So depending on the question, okay, various equations will be given. So this is one example where velocity as a function of x is given. Okay, let's look into some more applications. Now coming to this question, here acceleration is a function of velocity, and they're asking you to find out the time at which particle comes to rest if its initial speed is v0. Okay, so we are given acceleration as a function of velocity. But we have to find the time at which velocity is going to become a 0. Now start from this equation. We know acceleration is written as dv by dt. It's minus alpha into root v, or dv by root v is minus alpha into dt, just like the previous question. Okay, since we want velocity, I will have to integrate this relation from 0 to t, v0 to 0, because the particle is coming to rest at t equal to 0. Initial speed is v0. After t seconds, its speed has to become a 0. So integrate the relation. integral of 1 by root v to the power minus half is v to the power minus half plus 1 by minus half plus 1 from v0 to 0 should be minus alpha into t. Integral of dt will anyway be equal to t. Put the limits and simplify the relation. 2 times of root v from v0 to 0 should be minus alpha t, or put the upper limit as 0, minus 2 root v is 2 root v0 is minus alpha t, minus gets cancelled. So what is the time at which the particle is coming to rest? 2 root v0 divided by alpha. If the values are given, put the values whatever are given in the question. So this is another question where acceleration is a function of velocity. So like this, various functions will be given, okay, and you will have to find out velocity, displacement, acceleration and etc. So these are the second set of questions probably may be given from kinematics.